Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Judith Patterson. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Texas. And today, well, this whole month, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. Instead of doing my normal class to go videos, I'm going to be doing cards from the catalog. I used to do this way back when I first started my channel. And so what I'm going to do, well, it's the same thing I used to do, but maybe a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is this time I'm sharing a card from the current mini catalog. Now this catalog is about to go away. Everything in it is, well, not everything, but a lot of the things in it are retiring and only available while supplies last. Some of the things are already gone. So if there's something you want out of this catalog, purchase it sooner rather than later. And I'll let you know if I know that something is already gone. Or if I know that it's carrying over, because I know at least one of the things I'm using today is carrying over. So that's what I'm going to be doing. And instead of doing the class to go, this is the fun part. So if you're on my newsletter list, then I'll be sending you the PDF tutorial, so that with the measurements and the supplies I'm using and all of that, so that you can make these cards at home. And if you're not on my newsletter list, then get on it quick, because I'm going to be doing the same thing next week, but with a different card and possibly even a different catalog. I'm not sure yet. It depends on how things are staying in stock and stuff. But it might be this mini catalog. It might be our annual catalog. Towards the end of the month, you might get some sneak peeks of something that's coming maybe in January. So we'll see. I'll keep it fun. But every week I will send my newsletter people, because I really appreciate you guys, the free PDF tutorial for what we make. So let's flip it over. So we're going to be making 2 cards. For both cards, I'm going to be using the Merry and Bright stamp set, and this well, actually, yeah, and also the dies that go along with it. These are not going to be available. They're still available right now as I'm recording this video. Now, who knows when it posts if they'll still be available, but right now the bundle is still available. However, the designer series paper that I'm using on this first card, it's the Merry and Bright designer series paper, and it is sold out. So this is the card, but if you already have it, that's great. And you can always, change things up. That's what we're going to be learning on this one. But this is the card that I'm going to show you how to make right off the bat. So we're going to start there. Okay, so I have all my stamps mounted on blocks, and like this block, I have 2 stamps mounted. My little block A's are busy doing other things for me right now. So I have A here and then Merry right here. So I'll just flip it over. This one I did crooked or diagonally across. So you want to make sure that these are straight when you put them on. That one was a little crooked. And you can see these are stained. That's perfectly normal. Especially when you're using like the reds and the pinks, it really stains up this photopolymer. But that's okay. It's not going to hurt anything. Okay, so we're going to start with Pool Party. Every stamp gets its own color on this one. So starting with Pool Party, stamp A. And then grab your Granny Apple Green and stamp Merry. I forgot it's on the other side of that A. I didn't ink that up very well, so let's try that again. There we go. Okay, next I've got my Melon Mambo. So I'm stamping and Bright. And I'm just grabbing some scraps of basic white out of my little scrap basket over here. So Christmas, I'm using Poppy Parade. And it looks like my Poppy Parade might be a little dried up. It's better. And then for the final color, I'm using Lemon Lime Twist and Stamping to You and Yours. I do recommend closing your ink pads when you're not using them, because if you're anything like me, you'll end up sticking your fingers in them, your cards in them. It ends up being rather messy. But maybe you're not like me. Maybe you're a very neat and tidy stamper. Okay, so I'm just going to use my paper snips now and trim around every one of these. I'm going to try to keep them close to the same distance apart every time. So we have all of those pieces. Next, I'm going to stamp a star. And I think I can fit one on this piece right here. For the star, I'm using crushed curry. Look at that. Okay, so I'm going to use my little mini stamp cut and emboss machine to die cut the star and then the base of the tree, which is actually part of the bulb, the Christmas lights. We're going to use this one later. So for now, I'm going to use this one and the one right next to it. I don't want this one to move. And I have a hard time getting it straight anyway, so we're going to hope that's straight enough. I'm going to go ahead and use some craft tape there just to hold it down. And then that one is going to cut out that little scrap of Pool Party. Remember, when you're using this mini stamp cut and emboss machine, it's a good idea to stagger your top and bottom plate a little bit. You don't want the ends meeting up exactly. Ooh. Sorry about all that moving. This machine does not grip well on paper. It does great on my desk, but not so great just loose on the paper. Okay, so for these pieces, I'm going to go ahead and use my paper snips again and just cut this little bit off. And then we're good to go on that. So now I'm going to pull out my Stampin' score. See if I can get that top corner lined up. There we go. Okay, so I have a 3 by 4 inch piece of basic white cardstock. Trying to get this where you can see the corner and there's not such a horrible glare on it. Maybe that's a little bit better. So what I'm going to do is that at every 1/2 inch mark, I'm just going to make a score line. And this is just with the scoring tool that comes with it. And I'll hold it up in a minute so that you can see exactly what's going on here. But I'm just going in the whoa, that one went a little wild. So I'm going along the grooves at every 1/2 inch and then inch. like to go over it twice so that it's really shows up. I know you can't really see it. I don't know what is going on with my light right now. There, now you can see it. So it just, sorry, I had my stylus in my mouth. So that is what it looks like. It just makes these little 1/2-inch squares, and that's going to be our background. Okay, so then I also have a piece of vellum cardstock, and what I'm going to do, so I've flipped over my piece, and I'm just putting some Stampin' Dimensionals along the back. So now I'm going to place this a little crookedly right here on this vellum. Then I have that piece of Designer Series paper. This is from Merry and Bright DSP. Isn't that fun? Okay, we're not using that side though. We're going to use the other side. Although I guess you could use this side. Or like I said, this is sold out. So if you don't have this already, you could substitute something else, or even just leave your background the solid Poppy Parade. So now I'm going to use this liquid glue again, and I'm putting it on the vellum, and I'm hiding it with that white cardstock. So I'm only putting it where the white cardstock is going to cover it up so that you can't see it. I'm just going to kind of center it up on the card here. So then, all these little pieces, I'm going to use mini Stampin' Dimensionals. So I'm just going to put one on the back of each of, well, the A I'm putting one, and the star I'm putting one. Everything else gets more than one. So you can put these on here without taking the backing off, just to get an idea of where you want them. I am going to go ahead and put this one on. Then I'm going to put this one on for the bottom of the tree. Okay, and you can straighten yours up if you want to. I'm going to keep mine a little crooked. Most of them. So I find these backings, I know I've said this before, but I find these backings, Stampin' Dimensionals, everywhere. Not even limited to my own house. I'll find them just everywhere I go. I find them in my car. I found one in my cat's window perch. I don't know what you call it. It's like a window hammock. And I was putting the new, or not the new, but the clean pet bed in it this afternoon, and lo and behold, there was a backing to a Stampin' Dimensional. There we go. Okay, now I'm gonna add some of these iridescent adhesive backed disc. I just love these, especially this one, but they're all great. So these are, or they were, when I checked, they were out of stock, but they're coming back. These are one of the things that's going to be put in the, it's going to carry over. So even though they're not available right now, unless they came back overnight, which, you know, it could happen. I don't know. Even though they're not available right now, though, they will be available soon. So just keep your eye out for those if you would like them. And there we go. So there's the front of our card. I just love the way that this Christmas tree is made with words. I think that's so fun. So for the inside of the card, I have just another piece of basic white cardstock and a piece of that same designer series paper. And I'm just going to put that right here. So I'm putting it not quite all the way to the edge on either side. Trying to get it pretty even. Oh, I don't know what is up with this light. So there you go. I keep thinking that maybe if I move my camera farther away from my desk, maybe we'll hit this special place where it doesn't go bright all of a sudden. Okay, there we go. There's our inside of our card, and there's our front. So now I'm going to use the same stamp set and the same basic layout, but I'm going to use a different stamp. We're not going to use the words this time. We'll use some of the words, but not all the words. But I want to do some different things and show you a completely different look. So this designer series paper is available. It is from the annual catalog. It is Glorious Gingham 6x6 designer series paper. Of course, I've cut it down. And it comes in Berry Burst, Blueberry Bushel, Lemon Lime Twist, Pecan Pie, and Pretty Peacock are all the colors that you get in it. You can see I've used this quite a bit. I love this set. It's a good basic, shapes, basic design, because it's just gingham. And my camera is really having a hard time focusing on the gingham. So this time, since I've already got it out to show you, I'm going to go ahead and use that liquid glue again and put this on my, this time I'm using Pretty Peacock. So I have a Pretty Peacock base. And I did cut my cardstock this time to where it opens like this instead of opening sideways like a book. It doesn't really matter. That's just how I did it this time. So I'm going to grab a couple of pieces of that scrap cardstock again. And I'm going to start, I think I'm going to start with a light bulb. So this is what I recommend you doing. So ink it up, stamp it off, and then stamp it on your scrap. And you want 3 of these. So ink, stamp off, and then stamp. And I do have some extra pieces because I don't know if you can see that, but it was kind of getting ink in the middle there where it's not supposed to stamp. So let's see if that worked. I have a microfiber cloth here beside my desk that, yeah, that looks a lot better. That I like to use to wipe ink off if I need to sometimes without getting my stamps wet, but no, that didn't work. So can you see that? I've got ink dots where it should be white. So I'm going to go ahead and be picky. And I'm going to clean this off a little bit. That looks good. Let's see if it does as good the second time. Still a couple of little ink dots in there, but nothing too serious, so I'm gonna leave it. While I have this out, I'm going to stamp the center of my light bulb. So one goes there. And this time I'm not stamping off because I want this to show up really well. Oh, that's the one I wasn't going to use. And thankfully the placement for that does not have to be perfect. So I'm also stamping Have A, and I'm stamping Christmas again. So I want to make sure that that is not still very inky from the last time I used it. So here's Have A. So what I'm going to do is just turn this. Actually, I'm going to use this one. I'm going to pull out that. So that was Berry Burst. Now I'm going to get out my Pretty Peacock. And I'm going to stamp the top part of these Christmas lights. So again, I need 3. I'm stamping everything a little bit apart because I'm going to be using the dies to cut these all out. And then I have a scrap piece of Berry Burst cardstock. And I have the Holly Jolly stamp. So I'm going to stamp it in Pretty Peacock as well, so it shows up really well on this Berry Burst. And now more fussy cutting. So I'm going to fussy cut Have A and Christmas. So these I'll cut just like I did that the rest of them earlier. Okay, the Holly Jolly I'm gonna fussy cut around. Gonna move all of this out of the way so that maybe I can use that die cut machine and not have it bump everything and go all wild. Oh, I almost forgot. So I need 2 more things. So this one is going to be, let's see if you can see it. This one is going to actually go inside the card, and it's the light bulb string that matches the bulbs that we're using on the front. I'm just going to put that right about there. And you can tell my piece isn't long enough to do the whole thing. That's perfectly fine. I'm going to cut some of this off anyway. Okay, and then the other piece, this is Pretty Peacock, and I'm using this die here. It's the wire that the bulbs go on. Okay, so that actually cuts out two pieces. I want the one with the little loop-de in it. Okay, so for this card, I have another piece of that basic white cardstock. And instead of using my Simply scoring tool, this time I'm just going to use my regular paper trimmer. So, see if I can get this up here where you can see it. So this blade cuts. I don't want to use it because I don't want to cut anything. So this is just going to be a real simple. I'm using this one that scores. So the light gray scores on the Stampin' Up! Paper trimmer. So I'm doing 1/2 inch again. I'm just doing one line on each side. I'll show you how that ends up in just a second. Where's the sweet spot where you can see it? There it goes. So it just kind of makes a little bit of a frame around it. And that's all we're going to do for that. I'm going to go ahead. Yeah, you can do it either way. I'm going to go ahead and do the dimensionals and stick it on the front of the card like I did a while ago. So first you put the dimensionals on and stick it to your vellum cardstock. Okay, then a little bit of glue on the back of this. And center that up pretty good on the front of your card. Okay, so let's get all these pieces. First, I want to start by gluing the tops of the light bulbs on. And it's okay if when you fussy or when you die cut your light bulbs out, if you didn't have quite enough room to get the whole of the top, as long as you have enough to put some glue on to get these light bulbs in here. And I'm bringing it down just a little bit to cover this white piece here, and there's a little bit of a gap. I wasn't being real careful when I stamped the insides of the light bulb. So I want to make sure that it looks like all that's connected, not just floating around, because that wouldn't do any good. Okay, so there are those. Now this is the tricky part. So I'm going to string these light bulbs on my pretend string, my cardstock string. And the part of the way that I do this is I'm going to go ahead and put that on there. And then I'm going to take my dimensionals and I'm going to put one right, actually I'm going to put one on the bottom. I'm going to use a mini dimensional up here just to help hold that down, but I'm only using the corner because I don't want you to be able to see my dimensional. And then I'm also going to cut a dimensional just a little bit off the end of it here. And I'm going to use that to attach this side right here. Maybe. Yes. Okay, so it's still a little wobbly, which I expected. I'm not surprised that it's a little wobbly. Wobbly. I'm going to leave those backings on, but I'm going to flip it over real quick and add just a dollop, just the teeniest dollop of liquid glue to this side. So right there, teeny dollop. It's just enough to make it sticky. So I'm going to thread the next one on. And again, let's see. This time I'm going to try to just use a dollop of glue on the back. Oh, that's a lot of glue. So I erased that with a piece of cardstock. That was too much glue. But that'll be plenty right there. Go back. And then I'm going to add just the tiniest dollop of glue to this side as well. So the first time I did this, I used dimensionals and I got it all on the card and then did all of this. So I'm experimenting now to see if this is easier. And I think it will be a little bit easier. The placement maybe was a little bit easier the other way. But I can kind of use my grid paper here. So from there to there, that's 3 inches. So I want to bring this in actually a little bit more. Put it right there. And then, so I'm going to use my dollop of glue on this side, teeny dollop. And if you have a silicone mat, that would be great to do this on. I have one, but it's in my sink. I had a lot of fuzz and stuff on it, so I just went and washed it off earlier and forgot to grab it. Okay, so using the dimensionals does kind of help to hold it in place, but it's hard to get them on there so that you can't see them from the front. So we're just going to use the glue. Hope it doesn't move around too much and get everything sticky. Okay, so I'm just going to put these right like so, and it is sticking really well, so that's good. And then I'm going to use my paper snips and just snip the end of that off. Okay, so now I'm going to grab my Holly Jolly and I'm going to use those mini Stampin' dimensionals again. These things are so handy. You can always cut your dimensionals in half. It's just nice to have dimensionals that are already pretty much the right size. So this one I am going to, how handy is that? I'm just going to put that right there. And I think that's plenty. And anybody who's been watching me for a while, you know that that's usually not the number of dimensionals I'll use. Usually I'll use a lot more than that, but I think we're going to call it good. Okay, so just place this on here. And then I'm just going to use glue. have it say, have a, I'm going to tuck that up under the light bulb. It's going to hang off. I'm tucking it under my Holly Jolly. It's all over the place. And then Christmas. There we go. You can have it straight, crooked, whatever. There we go. And then I'm using, instead of the iridescent discs, I'm going to use the adhesive backed sequins trio. So this is Pretty Peacock. I just completely blanked. White, and this is Berry Burst. It's very light though. It says it's Berry Burst, but it's a very light shade of it. But I like it against the Pretty Peacock. So that's what I'm going to use. You could use whatever bling you have. But I just really like this one. And I wanted to show you options. You don't have to always stay just within a suite. You can mix and match. It's one of the things that I love about Stampin' Up! Is everything coordinates. So you can just use whatever you want and make it yours. Okay, there we go. So there's the front of our card. All right, so the inside part, this is totally optional. I'm kind of excited about it. So if I can find my light bulbs that I cut out a while ago, here they are. I'm going to use my Stampin' blends. So I have my Berry Burst and my Pretty Peacock. I have the dark of each. So what I'm going to do is first, I'm going to take my Pretty Peacock and color the, I guess, the wire of this strand. Turned my light down in my craft room. It's dimmable so that hopefully, I was trying to alleviate some of that glare that kept coming across the street. The camera, I don't know what's causing that, but I turned my light down thinking maybe that would help, and now it's hard to see. Might have to turn it back up. I forgot that I don't have to go all the way across that. I got carried away. So what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of glue on the back of each of the light bulbs. I'm not going to try to go down the wire at all. Just having the light bulbs glued down will be plenty to hold it in place. Just going to put that across the top here. Make sure everything is glued down. Then I'll use my snips. I'll turn it upside down. I'll use my snips to just cut it off. Like so. Then you have a card with the same basic layout as the one from the catalog. Same stamp set. We just use different colors and a different designer series paper. So there's one more that I want to show you. This one I'm not going to show you how to make it. And it's not going to be in the tutorial, the PDF tutorial, but I wanted to show it to you anyway. So the stamp set is still available. It's very cute, or at least it was when I checked. I can't guarantee it whenever this goes live. But the stamp set was still available. The bear punch is no longer available. The I think it's Snowflake Falling. Snowflake Sky. So the Snowflake Sky embossing folder is carrying over. It was sold out for the moment, but it should come back. And the Designer Series paper. This is the Berry Christmas Designer Series paper. It's still available right now. Or like right this minute. I don't know about when this posts, but hopefully it'll still be available for you because this is so cute. And all I did was fussy cut around one of the images from the Designer Series paper. And then a great idea so that you don't, because I know I used to not want to fussy cut the images. I wanted to use the whole thing because I didn't want to waste any of the DSP. But you can cut around, like this guy, he was on the edge of the paper. So I just went ahead and cut him out, and he's perfect for inside the card. Isn't that cute? So, so when you do fussy cut, you can still use even the pieces that aren't full pictures. Just put them inside your card or maybe on your envelope. So anyway, I just wanted to share this one with you. It's just one more idea of that same basic. Whoa, what is up with my camera? Let's switch cameras. Okay. I don't know what's going on with that other one. I think it might be time to try something new. So we have this one, the original, and then this one. And I'm not sure which one's my favorite. This camera doesn't want to focus very well either, huh? There it goes. All right, thank y'all for watching. Let me know if I can help you with anything Stampin' Up related. I love to answer your questions and help you learn new things. So if there's a video that you would like to see, let me know. I don't have all my videos planned out for the rest of the month yet, but I will be doing more cards from the catalog. Which catalog? Your guess is as good as mine. All right. Y'all have a great weekend. Thanks for watching. Happy stamping.